All right. Good morning, everyone. Um, Good morning to our listeners, on Zoom and in different parts of the world. I want to welcome you all to another beautiful edition of our Monday theme, Mental Fitness. My name is Stephen Awoyemi, and I'll be taking you through the topic expressing thanks, simple practices with big organizational impact. Gratitude is one thing that is supposed to be innate, with us. I mean, we're supposed to be born with it because we didn't just appear on planet Earth by ourselves. We have a father and a mother that met, and then we came alive, and then we didn't just come alive like that. They started growing us from zero age, down to the very level that we are right now. And we have schools where teachers taught us at different levels, churches, mosques where we're trained, in the religious way. So in one way or the other, we have different people that have impacted our lives to this very point that we are at in life. So gratitude is one thing that we cannot take for granted in our lives. Gratitude to our parents, to our teachers, to our siblings, to our colleagues at work. It's supposed to be something that we do every day effortlessly. So we want to see how gratitude can help organizations move from one level of greatness to another level of greatness. All right. Let's start with this quote, by Melody Beato that says, "Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace, for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow." Gratitude makes sense of our past, it brings peace for today, and then creates a vision for tomorrow. One thing that expressing thanks does is that it makes you see, the things that have gone by, and helps you to see a bigger picture, to appreciate, the difficulties you have been able to go through, how you have been able to weather the storm, and you are still here today. It enables you to have a peace about your present day, and at the same time, it gives you clarity about what you can expect tomorrow. That is what expressing thanks, does. Expressing thanks, gratitude, we are saying, the same thing. So that is what Melody Beato is telling us this morning, that, one of the things gratitude will do for you as an individual is that it would make your past meaningful. It will give you peace for today, and then it gives you clarity about what you are to expect, tomorrow. It's simple, practical steps, and so I want us to do a little bit of practical at this point. One thing we are known for at Adbond and Homes is that we take gratitude journaling very, 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 very seriously. And I want us to do a little practice this morning. I want us to pick up our pen and our writing, pad. And I want you to just think about your time here at Adbond and Homes, and I mean, for those that are listening to us out there as well, for your organization, I want you to think about, your being there and what you are grateful for about that organization, and write it down as number one. And number two, we all have colleagues here at work, and we have favorite colleagues, we can put it that way. So I want you to put down a name of someone and what you are grateful for that person. I want us to do this in 1 minute, and then one or two, three people will read out, what they have written down. So first thing first, what are you grateful for about Adbond and Homes? You are part of the team members here that make things go well, that make things work. Without you, the team is incomplete. So what are you grateful for about Adbond and Homes? And number two, that's your favorite colleague, maybe in your department or in another department, maybe it's your team lead, it's your director. I want you to just put down the person's name and write down what you're grateful for that person. And I would ask 1, 2, 3 people, to read out what we have there before we continue. Good. We just took a practice of writing down what we are grateful for about our organization, which you can also do as well. And look at one of your colleagues at work that has been really helpful in one way or the other, and I want you to pen down something about that colleague as well. But don't stop there. After the training, ensure you put it in a sticky note or in a small note and send it to that colleague, and you will see what that will do to that colleague at the end of the day. All right, so we can move further. Okay, so what does it mean to express thanks actually? We wanted to talk about definition of gratitude, and the definition of gratitude there is that gratitude is a quality of being thankful and appreciative for the good things in life, in people, experiences, and circumstances. In the workplace, it is saying thank you when a co-worker responds to an email, goes the extra mile, helps you with an assignment, or offers advice. It's a small favor you can pay forward whenever you benefit from someone else's efforts. It's a quality of being thankful for people around you, appreciative of the good things, about the experiences you go through. It's the quality of being thankful about, the circumstances that are around us. We are in a country where we see a lot of things happening day by day. Even in our organizations, we see a mix of, a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. But you can always choose to be thankful, about whatever thing you go through. Also, it's something we do to our colleagues. It's something we should find easy to do when our colleagues help us. Just like we had our experiential tour on Saturday, and usually like that when media team comes around, you see 2 people, 3 people, and you realize that without one person helping another, the goal would never be achieved. So we had the likes of the videographer, Mr. Chooks, and we had an interviewer, Ms. Bisola. So you realize that they work together to make things work. So ideally, after work for that day, Mr. Chooks should find it easy to say, oh, thank you, Ms. Bisola, for helping me to achieve the goal for today. Ms. Bisola as well should say thank you to Mr. Chooks for saying, for helping her achieve her goal for that day, as well. So this is something we are supposed to do from time to time. Find it easy to say thank you. A friend of mine was telling me how in Canada, when she worked there, her boss would always say thank you at everything, for the little things. And he said the first month she got there, when the man started saying too much of thank you, she was beginning to wonder if her salary wouldn't come at the end of the of the month. Maybe it's the thank you that will replace the salary. But she found out that at the end of the day, it was a culture for them to always say thank you at every day. So gratitude is a quality of being thankful and appreciative for the good things in life, people, experiences, and circumstances. All right, I decided to check out some studies and facts about gratitude, and I think I penned down about 8 or 9. First one says a study by the University of Washington found that feeling appreciated at work leads to higher job satisfaction and quality of life. This was a study done in University of Washington, and they found out that an environment where gratitude is found breeds higher job satisfaction and improves and increases quality of life. Another research by Harvard University and Wharton showed that receiving a thank you from a supervisor boosted productivity by over 50%. Another one here says gratitude interventions have been shown to reduce anxiety, depression, and stress while improving sleep quality and overall well-being. Gratitude has been linked up with increasing those chemical substances that makes us our mood very good, like dopamine and oxytocin. Studies have shown that when you offer gratitude, they help to release these hormones that make us feel very happy, less depressed, and less anxious about life. Also, a study by Glassdoor found that 53% of employees would stay longer in a company if their boss appreciated them more. That's simple. An organization where people were appreciated more, they found out that 53% of employees stayed more because of the fact that they were offered gratitude at their places of work. Also, it's 1% of people would work harder for a grateful boss, and 70% will feel better about themselves. So another research found out that in an environment where gratitude is eminent, 81% of people worked harder, and 70% of them felt better about themselves. Also, a study of healthcare workers found that employees who received gratitude expressions from patients had decreased burnout. Another one says only 10% of people make expressing gratitude a daily habit at work, while 60% rarely or never express gratitude. This is another research that shows that a lot of people in our workplaces find it hard to say thank you, and that is why we are bringing this topic to us, to teach us that at everything that we encounter, at every point that people help us at work, we should find it easy to express gratitude. Again, 93% of people agree that grateful bosses are more likely to succeed. And then 90% of American teens and adults reported feeling extremely happy or somewhat happy when expressing gratitude. You see that the studies the research and the facts and figures points towards the fact that when we offer gratitude at our places of work, it brings about excitement, happiness, it boosts productivity, it boosts our morale and motivation, and we want to do more because of the gratitude being offered. All right, and so let's talk about the benefits of gratitude in teams. What does gratitude actually do in organizations? First thing is that it enhances workplace dynamics by creating a positive atmosphere. You realize that in a place where people offer thanks, people give gratitude, one of the things that you see in such environment is positivity. A lot of people tend to come out every day with positivity at their work and everything they get to encounter in their places of work. Gratitude brings about positivity in people. When you are used to saying thank you for everything around you, it brings about this feeling of you thinking about life in a very positive light. Even when you hear of negative things, you realize that your penchant for negative things reduces when you are found in an environment where gratitude is flowing. Another one is that it's recognizing effort strengthens relationships, it boosts morale and promotes teamwork. When we recognize people's effort at places of work, when we see what people are doing, each individual in a team, because mostly in organization we work as team members. When we recognize each person's contribution to the success or to the achievement of a particular thing, what it does is that it boosts morale and it promotes teamwork. When everybody in a team feels like they have done something to make that team better, it helps that individual and the team to even want to do more. Another one is that teams that practice gratitude, they experience improved communication. They tend to talk to one another very easily. It brings about increased motivation, even far more than what the organization is asking for. They would want to do extra, and then it brings about a stronger sense of belonging, and overall what it does is that it increases productivity. And number 4 here is that gratitude increases job satisfaction and retention. In an environment where the leaders are always quick to appreciate subordinates, appreciate team leaders, appreciate assistant team leaders, what you find out is that people in that organization don't want to leave that organization for just any reason. And even if they want to leave, they do it in such amicable way that it doesn't affect the growth of the organization. So this is just 4. As we go on, we're talking about more in the training. So I saw this and decided to add it. Benefits of gratitude. Emotionally, what it does is that it brings about more good feeling. You are more relaxed, you are more resilient, you are less envious in the organization. When you see people doing great things, you appreciate it. When you appreciate it, you also get better at whatever thing you are doing. It brings happier memories. Personality wise, it makes you less materialistic. You don't bother too much about things around you, about owning all the cars, owning all the houses. It makes you focus on how to help others to become better. You are less self-centered. You are more optimistic. It brings about increased self-esteem. It makes you more spiritual when you show gratitude. What does it do to your health? It brings about improved sleep, just like you have seen in the research. We have less people falling sick. It brings about longevity. It brings about increased energy. And then you have the willingness to do more exercise. Socially, it makes you more social, and it brings about more marriages when you are, someone that you can easily say thank you. I can tell you that, as someone in that space. If you're someone very good at saying thank you, what it does, it improves your marriage, and it helps the singles, to bring about more marriages. It makes you more kinder, more friendships. It brings about deeper relationships. And career-wise, you are a better manager. It improves your networking skills, your goal achievement, improved decision making, and increased productivity. Overall, what it does to you is it increases your happiness. All right, so let's talk about simple ways to express thanks in our places of work. And this is leaning more towards employee relationship. And so first one is verbal expression. One of the ways we can say thank you easily, one of the ways we can offer gratitude at our places of work is verbal expression. And what is there is that say thank you sincerely. Say thank you sincerely. Express genuine gratitude through words for specific actions. Okay, so for example, if someone has helped you, like let me go back to the one I said that two people were having, our experiential site tour. One person assisted the other to do, recording, and the other person assisted in interviewing. So if the person that, okay, so I said Mr. Chooks was the videographer, Miss Bisola was, the interviewer. So ideally, if Bisola wants to express thanks to Chooks, Bisola should say thank you, for shooting, us well today. You should be specific in your thank you, in your gratitude. Don't just say thank you for today. When you go ahead to be specific about what the person has done for you, it brings about more happiness. So Chooks also should say, thank you, Bisola, you did the interview very well. So you have been specific in saying your thank you. You have been specific in your verbal expression, and that helps to bring about overall productivity and helps to bring about more communication, more connection between colleagues. Another one is written expressions. Write heartfelt personal thank you notes. Send a thoughtful email or message. And the third one, just like I said that we do here at Adbond, keep a gratitude journal, or at least if the journal is too big for you, put down a list of things. Record a list of things that you are grateful for every day. One of the things I found out that we don't do easily in this part of the world, we don't know how to write thank you notes. So we are saying, find it, in a way in your heart to start thinking of how to write thank you. You can write a thank you to your boss. You can write to your colleague. Small sticky notes. Write thank you for what the person has done for you. Maybe you were, planning for a presentation. The person helped you with slides. Write a short note. Say thank you to the person. Send an email if the notes you feel that would not be enough, or keep a gratitude journal of what the person has done for you. Then number 3, small gestures. Bring in treats or small gifts to show appreciation. We do this as well here at Adbond Harvest and Homes. When we say that when we have love feast, we bring 2 people to exchange gifts, for one another. But it shouldn't stop there. Even when someone has helped you, at probably for a training, just like I mentioned, why not? You can buy small gifts, or buy a gift for the person to appreciate the person for what the person has done to you. Accountants can write to the colleague or send a small gift to the colleague as well, for being responsible and for making his or her work, easier. Celebrate milestones by recognizing work anniversaries, years of service, or significant career milestones. Recently, I saw someone that clocked 5 years in one of the Fortune 200 companies, Fortune 200 companies, and 5 years anniversary, they gave the person an award, very massive award like that, and gave him a check of a certain amount of money, to spoil himself. These are things that we do in organizations, to help, productivity, overall productivity, and to increase the happiness of individuals. So we should celebrate milestones, by recognizing work anniversaries, years of service, or significant career milestones. 4, personalized gifts. Personalized gifts. I've received some personalized gifts here, from Adbond, from some of our colleagues. I've received diaries where I have my name, written there. These things go a long way to help, our productivity. It helps to improve our relationship and connection, as well. Give small, meaningful gifts that show appreciation. Peer recognition. Highlight colleagues' efforts. Acknowledging teammates boosts morale and fosters a supportive environment. We have been talking about that. Another one is digital shout-outs. Use social media. Public recognition on social platforms enhances visibility and what celebrates achievement. So we can also post people, on our statuses or on our Instagram pages to appreciate them for the good things they are doing to our organizations. Employees can do all of this, as well. So further, I said practical steps for expressing thanks. This is more, about the employer to the employee. So we can have a gratitude wall in our organizations. I'll give a picture of that in the next slide, where people can come every day. They stick a note there to appreciate the organization, to appreciate colleagues, just to kind of encourage, gratitude journaling in people. Also, we can create a 30 days, gratitude challenge, where every day you have something to write about yourself, your colleague, your environment, your family. All of these helps, to boost our productivity at work. Also, regular appreciation meetings. In our one meetings, I know one of the first things we do is that we say, what are your wins? And then we celebrate everybody's wins. So these things help as well, in improving the overall organization productivity. Dedicate time to recognize achievements and foster a culture of gratitude. Also, peer recognition programs. Formalize acknowledgement of contributions through structured peer-to-peer recognition. So we can have, members of directors can work in such a way that team members have partners that they tend to appreciate, one another from time to time. So like every week, there's a certain peer, for the week. One would always send appreciation note to the person, and the other person would always send to the person as well. So we do that from time to time also to improve, gratitude in the organization. And team celebrations, as well. We do that at Adbond Harvest Annuals. When we achieve a new milestone, we come together, we have cakes, we have wines, and we pop them. All of these also are ways of expressing thanks and improving gratitude. So this is an example of a gratitude wall. So this is like a chalkboard, and then people are writing what they are grateful for. And this is another, type of gratitude wall, where people come, I'm grateful for my amazing team. You see a lot of writings there, so we can employ all of these strategies in our organization to improve, gratitude in individuals. Also, I talked about 30 days of challenge, so if you look at this, day 1, write down 3 things that you are thankful for. Day 2, express gratitude to at least one important person in your life. Day 3, go 1 full day without complaining. I'm sure that's not very easy in Nigeria, but when we do that, we get better at that. Day 4, meditate for 10 minutes. Day 12, recognize today as a gift. Day 13, list 3 things that you like, about your job. Think of what you are grateful for before going to bed. So we can have things like this in our organizations just to boost, our gratitude journaling. All right, so I have 4 things I want to recommend for everyone in this training today. And first thing is that be grateful for people, not just for performance. Sometimes gratitude workplace initiatives can feel like old recognitions or programs, warmed over. To avoid this feeling, focus on social worth and think about how people have made a difference. Give thanks for people's willingness, their enthusiasm, their commitment or effort, not just their impact on the bottom line. Before you achieve a result, there are a lot of steps you have taken, and this is another way to say celebrate little wins. focus on growth, and be a growth mindset person or people as an organization. Try to appreciate people for their steps they have taken, for being willing to do a number of things, for their enthusiasm, for their commitment. Don't just look at the overall goal. Don't look at the results alone. Appreciate people, for what they have done along the line. I mean, the things they have done within, fulfilling a certain goal and not just the end result alone. What this does is that it helps people, to feel better and to give more at your places of work. Number 2 is that customize your Thanksgiving. And this part is saying that there are people that feel shy when you thank them in the what's it called? In a large gathering. And there are people that they don't like it, when you give them just a small shout out in a gathering as well. So you have to understand, the people you're dealing with in an organization. Know people for who they are and customize your Thanksgiving. Know what works for an individual. Try to understand their temperaments. Know who you have to give a loud shout out in a large gathering, and know who you are supposed to send a written note to, in an organization. Third one is that be specific in your gratitude. Saying thanks for being so awesome yesterday doesn't have the same impact as thank you for getting to the meeting 5 minutes early to set up the screen share. So, like I said earlier, try as much as possible to be specific. Don't just say thank you generally. Say that very thing that person has done to you, and be grateful for that very thing. And number 4, is digital shout out. Most people can tell when an expression isn't heartfelt, and expressing an insincere gratitude at work is probably worse, than showing none, at all. So you find a way as well, to show gratitude, digitally, because we are in a digital world right now. And one of the ways we can easily just say thank you, without any hassle or any stress is by going, online to appreciate, your colleagues and your employers. All right. And conclusion. In conclusion, we have a closing quote, and it says, gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but parent of all the others. There are a lot of virtues: kindness, humility, joyfulness, happiness. We find out that gratitude, is the greatest of virtue. As a Christian, I realized that in the Bible, before Jesus Christ would do any miracle at all, before he would do anything, the first thing, Jesus Christ would do is to say thank you. And the moment he says thank you, all doors are open. So Marcus Cicero, a Roman philosopher, stated here that gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but parent of all the others. So I'm saying today that employee to employee, find it easy to say thank you. Let's increase that percentage, that statistics, from 10% to about 98%. Let's start saying thank you. Let's start writing notes. Let's have gratitude walls in our organization. And if we do all of this, we see that life will be better for every one of us. So if you have questions or comments, please do well to drop it in our comment section below. Thank you for listening, and thank you for joining us today.